Meeting, September 9th, 2019. Roll call, please.
Mr. Zajac has an excused absence. Ms. Renee?
Here.
Mr. Wardell?
Here.
Mr. Kosis?
Here.
Mrs. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Calhoun?
Here.
Mayor Brown?
Here. Notice requirements, 231 Public Law 1975, been satisfied by publication of said notice in the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. Would everybody please join me in the salute the flag again?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Mayor, before we begin, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add resolution 2019-163 for the rehabilitation resolution that we've all been given a copy of and we've all just discussed.
So you're ready to throw that right on as an amended to this meeting?
I mean, we've had many meetings already and I'm ready to just,
All right.
it's a
So
step one.
there's a motion on the floor to amend the agenda to add to which resolution?
Resolution 20-19, 2019-163, directing the Neptune City Land Use Board to conduct an investigation to determine whether or not the Borough of Neptune City in its entirety or any part or parts thereof qualifies as an area in need of rehabilitation pursuant to the New Jersey Local Redevelopment and Housing Law.
Okay, that's offered by Mr. Nay.
Second.
Second by Mr. Calhoun. Roll call, please.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
No.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Okay. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the agenda has been amended. Okay, communications, council meeting minutes, August 12th, 2019. What's council's pleasure?
Receive and file.
Received and filed by Mr. Wardell,
Second.
second by received, thank you. August 2019 Neptune City Police Department report.
Keep the file.
We're gonna read this one.
On my
It's
yellow
short.
sheet.
Yeah, good.
Dated August 2019 from Chief Matthew J. Quagliato, submitted herewith with the August 2019 monthly report for the Neptune City Police Department. Total, August 2019, total calls for service was 915, previous August 2018, 991. DWI arrests were 2 in 2019, 2 in August 2018. Traffic accidents 34 in August 2019, 29 in August 2018. Narcotics incidents in 2019 were 12, August 2018, 11. Violations of Borough Ordinances, 25 in August of 19 and 44 in August of 2018. Arrests, 44 in August of 19 and 51 in August of 18. Motor vehicle summonses, 164 in August of 19 and 181 August of 2018. National Night Out was hosted at the Neptune City Memorial Park on August 6, 2019. And the borough hired Special Law Enforcement Officer 3 Scott Samus and as a SLEO 3 SRO, August 12th of 2019.
Thank you. It's council's pleasure.
Receive and file.
Received and filed by Mr. Nay,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wardell. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? See, thank you. Okay, we will go to presentation, public hearing on two, do I need to go into public hearing? Need a motion to open public hearing for open space? Need a motion to go to public meeting, public hearing for the 2019 Monmouth County Open Space Grant application.
So
Offered by Mr. Kosis,
Second.
second by Ms. Renee. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are in an open space grant public hearing, and I'd like to welcome our engineers to give a presentation, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Susan Bracefield, Mansfield from Mazer Consulting, the borough engineer. And we did advertise this public hearing for the 2019 Monmouth County Municipal Open Space Grant application in the coaster, and proceeding after this public hearing, we'll make any adjustments to the application and to submit it to Monmouth County in a timely manner. The project is a phase 2 improvements to Memorial Park. In 2018, phase 1 improvements to Memorial Park were applied for Monmouth County, and Monmouth County granted an application, a grant amount of $175,000 for phase 1. And phase 1 included new playground equipment on a rubber surface, new curbing, replacement of tables and benches in the park, and a new gazebo. Our phase 2 project is going to be replacing the existing playground equipment, which is older, with new equipment that is all ADA compliant. We will be also placing that new equipment on a rubber surface, and we will be adding a ramp from the parking area into the ADA compliant area and making it a smooth transition with the playground equipment that was approved as part of the 2018, so that is one surface that can be accessed easily. The area will also include a new ADA ramp to access the existing picnic area and bocce court, and bocce courts, so that there's no areas that wheelchairs cannot get through. We are going to be replacing a small area of the parking lot so that it's to be ADA compliant, to make it easier to get to park in and out. There is not budget at this time to replace the entire parking area with the paved surface, so it'll be limited to a couple of ADA compliant parking spaces. The purpose of the Monmouth County grant program is to assist municipalities with programs for their parks, and they will fund up to 75% of the project. And because Neptune is an urban aid community, they get that 75% rather than the 50% that is offered to other municipalities in the county. We will be applying for the maximum amount available, which is $250,000. The total project cost estimate of the project that's scoped at this point is $375,540. Once the Monmouth County evaluates the project and we determine how much grant money is available, we will look at the total scope of the project, but it will definitely include the ADA improvements, and we'll scale it as necessary to work with the borough's budget. That's a summary of the project. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, could I just, so when you started the presentation, you had discussed the gazebo and a few things at Memorial Park. If I recall, the last open public, or CDBG grant, we had 3 parks initially in that grant, and the grant committee came back to us and asked us to remove one of the parks. So everything that we're doing now it was actually in the first grant, but we had to remove it, and we only did out of Joe Frieda Park. That's where we got all the ADA equipment. We tried to do it all at one time and wouldn't let us. But, and this is the balance of that original project at Memorial Park.
Correct.
Because we've done a lot of work. The last grant was just Memorial Park and no other parks, and then the next grant we did the other 2 parks.
Correct.
Okay.
So are you saying the gazebo is falling under this grant then?
Well, the gazebo was there was no work done on the last CDBG grant at Memorial Park. We pulled Memorial Park out of that grant and only did the ADA compliant at the other 2 parks.
Right, and I believe that was the 2017 grant. And
Correct.
that construction and installation of playground equipment, I believe
It's all complete.
completed at this
Right,
point.
it's just, we just didn't do, they asked us to pull the one park out, because we actually had a pretty broad,
But that was CDBG, this is different. This is open space grant money, this is separate. That's how I took it as, when I went through everything. This, CDBG, we're still doing First Responders Park, that we're
Under
not totally.
CDBG.
under
So, okay.
CDBG.
so I'm sorry, it's
CDBG,
open under
this is-
space.
This is open space, and this, the only thing that was on there that I saw was the gazebo, was the only part that.
We did
under
no,
open
we
space
did
money.
no original,
Under CDBG.
ADA compliant under CDBG.
Correct, for Memorial.
Right.
For Memorial. Joe Frida and First Responders is everything under, is still under CDBG. That's why we didn't qualify for this year, because we're not done with our projects yet.
Correct,
For
okay.
CDBG. Then, and this is the open space, so that we have partial phase 1 still to go, and then the phase 2 portion, which is, the yellow portion, I believe.
Right,
Yeah.
CDBG is every other year,
Yes,
and this is the open space.
that's where I was
which is-
today.
Okay.
For the review committee.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I still don't know, are we getting a gazebo?
The gazebo is a part of this.
It's part of
It's part
the
of
open
this
Part
space
of,
this-
part,
a
yes,
part of
yes.
last year.
Last year's, but it's still
Approval.
gonna happen under last year's.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have 2 years, is it 2 years to do the
Yeah.
project? 2
Yeah,
years.
there was- I
Once
think
you
I
get a
had to say-
project, it may say 2017, but you have till 19 or.
Right.
And that is one,
19, I think.
that's, and
Yeah.
those, like, the CDBG ones are still in process.
Question. Now, most of what you said has to do with ADA compliance, which makes me very happy. But I didn't hear you say ADA access to the gazebo. Did I miss that?
Well, she did say reworking the
we-
sidewalks, so maybe.
Yeah,
that's
we're,
probably-
we definitely included enough new sidewalk and ramp to get from the parking area to the Bocce Court. I would think that we can look, we'll have to look at during the design how the gazebo is on the other side of the Bocce Court, of how access can be done through there. I'm sure that we can put that, we may have to put for the 2018 design, we may have to make some of these items as alternate bid items to see how much money it comes in, and if the borough has enough money to do everything. So I'll make sure that we look at that.
Thank you.
Did you say you were gonna pave the parking lot?
Just only enough to make,
Okay,
Okay,
now,
so there
but
won't be
this-
extreme runoff into the river, like you'll be
yeah, no, it won't be a big increase
cognizant of that.
part.
Okay.
Are you able to, instead of actually paving an impervious, making an impervious surface, are you able to make it a pervious surface? I know like in Neptune Township, beside the old high school, they have like this graded, there's sand in there, and it's level for walking, but it's still pervious, so the water goes down through, so we don't have any runoff issues.
I don't think that type of a surface would be ADA compliant. We could look at pervious pavement, it is more expensive, but we could look at that and see what the cost difference is for a small area.
If you could look at that, I just don't want any environmental issues to, evolve, just try to stay away from that as much as possible.
Does it specify that it has to be blacktop versus concrete? For,
No, the blacktop is less expensive.
okay.
Currently, there are paved concrete ADA compliant spaces there now at Memorial Park.
We were asked to add a.
Right, I'm just saying, there are a few there, and in the past, on some of the other grants, we've made sure that we've left the parking lot purposely as gravel, so that we don't have the runoff, and that's why we have the one rain garden in there also, to take the blacktop area, like around the monuments, that blacktop area drains into that, rain garden.
Yeah, this will only be for the portion right up, close to the pavilion, oh, I know it's in the map, it doesn't show it that well, but more right across from the parking lot side, so it's like, I think there's 3 or 4 spots right, along the fence line. That's the only area that is, gonna be that zone.
Just adding a couple more.
Yeah.
Because we have a couple that faced
Looking at-
east-west, and then these are the ones that face the river itself.
Correct.
And not to beat it to death, I apologize, but, I've heard that there's been tremendous traffic down there. I mean, everybody loves the park on the weekends, and there's been are you looking at possibly trying to make it a little bit bigger, the parking lot, without intruding on our, you know?
We didn't talk about that.
You'd have to lose park for that, yeah. You'd have to lose park for that. We'd have to lose park for that.
I know, but there's like parking all up and down the street now, they're all crowded.
Here we go again, making something nice, and you know, people are enjoying it.
No, and they
It's a good
come,
thing.
they're coming, it's wonderful. It's a great problem to have, so I just thought I'd throw it out.
Something maybe we can consider for phase three.
Parking garage?
Maybe we'll get bike lanes and everyone will bicycle.
Yeah, right.
Is there anything else?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Is anyone from the public, this is for public, right? Anyone from the public would like to comment or anything on the open space grant? Please state your name for the record.
John Coombs, Citizen Media. If you have a choice of ADA compliance versus environmental concern, what's your choice?
I don't understand what you just said.
With the concrete, with the pavement and stuff, I'm sorry, I'd rather have ADA compliance over I'm sorry, I have a speech impairment. It's,
So, no, I understand what you're saying. So you're asking if we're actually getting both.
okay.
That's part of it. We're doing ADA compliant parking spaces. Currently, some exist, but we're adding some additional ADA compliant parking spaces to make it more accessible. Just like when we did the boardwalk, there's the ADA compliant ramp and landing at the beach. So that's even ADA compliant. So yeah, we're getting both. We're gonna keep the surface on the parking lot, but we're getting some extra,
I'm also a disability advocate too, that's,
as we all are.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, seeing none, I need a motion to close the hearing.
So,
Offered by Ms. Lewis, seconded by Mr. Calhoun. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Public participation on any of the agenda items. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on any of the agenda items? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Cicino, President Board of Education.
Anthony Cicino, 79 Steiner Avenue, President of Board of Education. Excuse me. Opening day went very well. For our back-to-school night, unfortunately, is September 11th, right after the first responder ceremony. It's at 7 o'clock. In the future, there won't be a conflict with any dates because we're well aware that for some reason scheduling made it so that they're both on the same day.
Yes, September 11th comes the same day
It's
every year.
unbelievable, you know? So, next year we'll make sure that it's not.
Well, it's over, it's at 6.
Correct.
And I assure you, it is a quick ceremony.
Okay.
It's really it's not about the length. It's really it's about the content and the remembering that day. So it will be pretty quick, so.
Yeah, well, we'd like to not infringe on the ceremony, so next time we'll make sure we're on a different day.
We'll talk about it.
Thank you very much. Everything went well. School's doing well. A lot of people are stating comments that they're very satisfied.
I've heard a lot of positive comments, so keep up the good work.
Okay.
Anyone else from the public wish, or is anybody, public, we're done with that? No old business, new business, resolution 19-159.
Resolution authorizing the Borough of Neptune City to apply for a 2019 Monmouth County Municipal Open Space Grant for the Memorial Park Playground Improvement Phase 2 project.
Would somebody like to offer that? So, offered by Mr. Kosis,
Second.
second by Ms. Renee. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
yes.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Resolution adopted, thank you.
Resolution 2019-160, authorizing payment of bills.
Oh, I'd like to offer that.
Offered by Mrs. Lewis. Second. Second by Mr. Kosis. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Yes.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Calhoun.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Thank you.
Resolution 19161, resolution authorizing the Borough of Neptune City through the Neptune City Police Department to participate in the Defense Logistics Agency Law Enforcement Support Office 1033 program to enable the Neptune City Police Department to request and acquire excess Department of Defense equipment.
Would somebody like to offer that?
So offered.
Offered by Ms. Renee, second by Mr. Wardell. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Yes.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Resolution 2019-162, resolution for the lease of for a borough police vehicle under New Jersey State contract for the Borough of Neptune City.
Would somebody like to offer that?
So offered.
Offered by Ms. Renee, second by Mr. Wardell. Is there any comment? I'd like to make comment. This is a program we started with the police department several years ago. The lease option buy program for patrol cars has definitely worked out well for the borough, the residents, and the police department. It allows continual rotation of police cars so that our police officers are they're always safe. They're able to get to calls. We don't have cars breaking down, and it's good fiscal management. So, Chief, there you go. You did. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We've
that
been in the program for approximately 11 years now, and it's quite successful. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell? Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Thank you.
Resolution 2019-163, directing the Neptune City Land Use Board to conduct an investigation to determine whether or not the Borough of Neptune City in its entirety or any part or parts thereof qualifies as an area in need of rehabilitation pursuant to the New Jersey Local Redevelopment and Housing Law.
Somebody like to offer that?
So offered.
Offered by Ms. Renee,
Second?
second by
Is already determined Neptune City as an opportunity zone. We might as well take advantage of the opportunity, and that's why I'd like to move forward with this.
Okay. Once again, that opportunity zone thing is really, it's kind of, they really don't know exactly what they're gonna offer yet. So I know we're using that word, but we really don't have any idea what the opportunity zone's really gonna offer us.
But there's a reason the
So
state
I'm
designated it.
speaking, excuse me. Now, so when I first originally spoke to the governor's office about opportunity zone, Neptune City being 1 square mile, and we're very diverse, it would have been very difficult for them to break Neptune City up into little parcels. So that is why the entire borough is, we're 1 square mile. That's why they just made the entire borough a opportunity zone. That's how we, and maybe it will. Maybe the state, they rolled this opportunity zone word out there. It sounds great and everything, but I've talked to them, and they really can't tell us anything definitively exactly what it'll offer. They got some ideas, but they really can't tell us definitively. If you just want to pass this, that's up to you. I just, I don't like to use, I've been saying this really, that opportunity zone word, we've been, nobody has yet, very recently, put anything in front of me that says what an opportunity zone does. If we're doing this because it's the betterment of, if you think it's better for Neptune City or whatever your particular reasons are, that's fine. After our workshop session and all the discussion, I was surprised that it really didn't matter what anybody had to say. You were putting it on the agenda anyway for the regular meeting. So that's all my comment. Roll call, please.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
No.
Mr. Kosis?
I vote yes to pass on to get the opinion of the land use board.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Thank you. Okay. Public participation on any and all items. Oh, I would like to, before we go forward, there's one more thing. Okay, so the Law and Ordinance Committee. I would like to make a request to the Law and Ordinance Committee, along with the Neptune City Police Department, to review the borough ordinance on vicious dogs. And dogs at large, what constitutes a vicious dog, whether it be a breed, whether it be the way it's treated, the way it's trained, whether if it's licensed or not. I think, you know, and this is because of personal issues recently with some dogs, or a dog. And I think, I really think that the governing body, Law and Ordinance Committee, if you could look into it, to maybe help the police department have a little bit more, no pun intended, a little bit more bite than just bark when it comes to these things. Because once a child is hurt or another animal is killed from a dog who is listed as a terrier, because we don't actually make them show us the dog when they license it. You can license your dog, I think, as whatever you write down, that's what you license your dog as. So I would just like to ask the Law and Ordinance Committee to please address that, speak to the police department, code enforcement, and of course the SPCA, which going into that, the SPCA TNR will be at the presentation portion of the September 23rd meeting. It'll be about a 15-minute presentation, and then we'll open up for questions and it's a little Q&A from Chief LaCitra. So please come to the meeting.
Mayor, could I yes. Sure. The Borough of Roosevelt has a very good animal control ordinance if the committee wants a starting point.
Yeah, that would be great, thank you. Yeah, you know what I mean, and like I said, work with the chief, and you know, like I said, this is something where we've had dogs in the past where it actually took a dog several times to bite and hurt residents before the courts made them put up signs and get an additional umbrella policy on their home for having a vicious dog in your house. I have a Yorkie. She's about 7 pounds, or maybe 8. She's a little fat, but you know, when she looks in the mirror, she thinks she's a Rottweiler. But some of these bigger dogs, you know, it would only take them a second to, and I see that there's a lot of people who walk those dogs. Every dog bites. I don't care what anybody says. My little dog will bite you. But you know, it's just, I think it's important before somebody gets hurt, maybe give them one more step, you know, for the police department and an SPCA. So, thank you.
Mayor, before you go to public
I'm
comment.
not done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor.
That's all right. Tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, we have a promotional ceremony for Neptune City Police Department. It's not a public meeting. It's, you know, it's everybody's invited. Come on down. Come watch our police officers get sworn in and promoted. We have a great department here in Neptune City, and it will be at the beautiful Memorial Park on the boardwalk. So please come on down. That starts at 6 o'clock. Don't be late because you'll miss some of the best parts. And then Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, First Responders Park, West Sylvania Avenue, across from Studio Date. Please join us for a 9/11 memorial, you know, to show respect and remember what happened on September 11th. I started this when I became mayor. I've had a 9/11 memorial. There was one year they scheduled the firemen's convention on September 11, and I think there were 5 or 6 of us that actually showed up at the park. But we showed up, we remembered, we showed our respects. So please come on down Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Thank your volunteers. Okay.
A couple things I wanted to bring up. One, there was an item on the workshop meeting here that I would just like to bring up to the attention to the governing body. I don't want to wait another month to bring this up here. I've had a couple people, residents of both Fifth Avenue, residents of the Senior Center, and also some couple first responders that are talking about the issue of the parking over on Stanley Avenue, I guess it's right off of Sixth Avenue there. About the safety issues of parking, and people park on both sides of that street there. And after having the last drill there, my cousin, who is a first responder from Avon, was part of that drill, and noticed, as some other people, that the area between there, we park on both sides, is really not wide enough probably to get a ladder truck through there if you have to get to the back of that building. So it's become, that's why I didn't want to wait to do it another one, because it sounds like it was safety. So I was wondering if the chief maybe could help us, do a study over there with the, the issue of the safety in that area.
Absolutely, yeah, we have done that before.
Have we? Okay.
And we came up with some remedies, but I think the parking on one side of the street would definitely alleviate that issue. But everything else should be up to par with regarding the parking.
Okay, you wanna meet with the chief and?
Sure.
See if you got.
Yeah,
Bring something back.
we've had calls, I know, Councilman Renee and either Councilman Kosas or Calvin, I know you guys have called too about some issues, with the issues over there. I know we have one resident that, does like to call in probably monthly.
I think I know what you're talking about.
His name, I can't remember, but he has called in. I know the chief has sent extra patrols over there. Some of it also, on some of the streets over there also are on the opposite side and the township side. So I know we have some, crossover there, so it is an issue, and.
Yeah, we had Public Works repaint the curbing over there, the yellow, no parking. And
All right,
that
so
seems
take
like
a look
that'll
at
work.
us, and if there's anything you need us to do, make a recommendation, and we have to pass an ordinance to change something or whatever, just, whatever you think, chief.
Right, I know, like, the issue of parking over there, I just also wanna make sure everything works with the senior center, so I know a couple of seniors do park in the street because there's not enough
Well,
parking.
that's the thing, if we make it only one side of the street parking, then we're gonna lose a lot of.
Yeah, I know it's one of the concerns they had there, but I also know it's a safety, I'm just curious to see, I'm not.
I think the safety outweighs that.
I
That's
agree
something that we
with you
should-
completely, chief, but that was
we
the
should look
issue there.
into.
That was all.
I have a question. I mean, it's more for the housing authority, I guess, than for us, but there's a piece of property there on the corner that is for sale. I always thought that was part of Neptune City because it's the Neptune City side, but I'm understanding it's for sale, whenever I look at the listing, it says Neptune Township, so I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I don't know, I would have to speak
A
to.
lot comes up as
I would have to speak
I
to.
mean, it's not a city, it could just be a city. I think
It's not,
yeah.
I would have to speak to housing authority on that. I know it's come up in the past, and they've talked about that, and, we've even talked about additional housing in Neptune City. There's definitely a shortage for senior housing, but that's not for here, that's for them to discuss. We will pass that on to the housing authority, and we can make recommendations to them, look into that or whatever.
It sure seems like that would help resolve some of the issues.
Possibly could. It's just like everything else. It's money. I don't think they're gonna give it to us.
And then we have to also consider if we do something with the parking, because some residents don't like what's going on that side of town. What if someone on another side of town doesn't like the parking situation?
Absolutely.
I think we have to look at the whole picture.
Yeah, so, and I'll say, this is something all over the place, and I've said this before. I'm like I'm a little territorial in front of my house, it's like, I see somebody's car there, and I want, I gotta park up the street, it's like, that's my house, but if you're legally parked, and your car's good, there's nothing, I am a little territorial sometimes in my house, and, and everybody gets that way, but if people are legally parked on a legal street with a legal vehicle, you can't tow it, because it can't even be pushed down the street.
Throughout the days, we got multiple complaints from different neighborhoods of, someone's parked over in front of my house, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And if we were to, bend over backwards and pass the ordinance for every person complaining, there'd be nowhere for anyone to park, who doesn't have a driveway.
Well, that's why I said earlier, Chief, I've always referred all parking and traffic stuff to the police department. The chief, he has a traffic,
Right, and if we study that, they stand there in those sections numerous times, and the only remedy for this, emergency vehicles is the one side of the street parking. But then we have to also address, where the people in the senior center are gonna park.
Right. One last thing, unless everyone else has another comment.
go ahead.
One last thing, so I just like last year, through the Monmouth County Board of Health, I was able last year to set up a free ice skating here at the community center, which was great. This was a program they offered, and they actually were looking for places to host their events. They couldn't find places. I know of a fantastic place where it can be done. Last year's was incredibly attended. Actually, unfortunately, they actually filled up all the appointments like within a day because it was such an event. So they actually extended it by an hour this year. So it's going to be on October 7th from 3 to 6 at the community center. We'll be offering free eye exams, but you do have to make an appointment. You can't just show up. It's not like you show up and get an eye exam. You have to make an appointment. There are flyers. I'm sure Ms. Russell will probably put it on both out in the vestibule and on the sign. We'll take care of that. I'm sure we'll put it on the website as well. Now, if I played my cards correctly, not only will we get free eye screening, but there may also be somebody giving out free eyeglasses as well to people who cannot afford glasses. Right? I don't quote me on that. It's not a definite, but I'm working that as best I can. We can get part of that program. Part of that program also include eyeglasses to those who can't afford it. So this is a free eye screen for people. Most of us probably don't have, vision insurance. I don't. My insurance goes with vision insurance, and many people don't. So unfortunately, I don't need glasses yet. But it's a really great event. I'm sure it is. Right? It turns out that beta carotene actually does help your vision. It was a propaganda thing made up by the British during World War II. We all fell for it. All right, but it's true. They didn't want to give away their secrets about radar, so they said that they eat a lot of carrots, give their eyesight. It turned out not to be true. All right, but nonetheless, it's an event. So please, if you are interested, or if you know somebody who could use this, please make sure they make an appointment as soon as possible. They fill up very quickly. Okay? Thank you. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you. How about a motion to adjourn?
Oh,
No public participation.
yeah, there's also,
Huh?
Okay.
Oh, did somebody else from the resident have something to say? I thought we were all done now.
Yeah, you didn't ask it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't ask yet?
We kind of.
Almost got it here. All right, does anybody from the public wish to be heard? Yes, young lady.
You were on a roll,
Name and address?
Oh, Patty Scott, 220 West Sylvania. There have been solicitors in town, and I thought years ago, when I was young, they had to go to the police department and get a permit or something. Do you know anything
Yes,
about that?
there's we passed a borough ordinance several years ago. Solicitors, as long as they are not religious or political, they are to obtain a permit, be registered with the borough, and they're supposed to have ID on them all the time, correct?
Yes.
So yes, if someone comes to your door and you're not hiding from them,
Right.
when they're knocking on your door with the pamphlets, or they need it, they need
People
to have
from
ID.
Verizon have been around.
They should be registered with, if you're concerned about it, you just call up and they'll tell you whether they're registered or not. But they need to have a tag on them, so you're supposed to have ID. If it's Verizon, they would probably, they come in and get registered, right? On a regular basis, Verizon? or-
Periodically, several other, like solar companies.
Yeah, they come in, they get registered, but if they don't have ID on them,
But it's called the police
call
department?
the police department.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. But you got a new car, and everybody's gonna call you.
That's what we're here for.
That's what, Anyone else in public you heard? Yes.
Jen Coombs, I'd like to know more information about the YouTube channel.
We'll give you more once we get any stuff about that. All right? Thank you. Anyone else? Please state your name and address, please, for the record.
Tammy Brown, 69 Laird Avenue. I have a couple questions
Sure.
and comments. This is towards the borough administrator. The policy manual, or it's for the whole governing body, it was updated last year. And every volunteer, not just Board of Rec, every volunteer and every employee, including governing body members, are supposed to have a full background check. So I don't know if,
I'm reading it again, I read it when I first got here.
yeah, I don't, that's why, yeah,
It's
it's
kinda
a lot.
dry, no offense to,
No, it's a lot to
Yeah.
absorb, so, and I know as,
and then it has to be updated yearly, so I'm starting the update program.
and I think that was from the insurance company. Also from the insurance company is everybody's supposed to have their driver's license run.
Correct, we have the NJ Care system that does that.
Okay, perfect. Let me see, participatory budget, the meetings, are they gonna be public? Are you advertising them? Are they, is it just your committee? Are you inviting the residents?
No, just the committee. As the mayor stated in the workshop session, probably should have been done by resolution, and that was confirmed by Mr. Kent. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and we're gonna make the resolutions. Committee meetings already happened. They'll be approved. Money's been approved in the budget.
So how is that
So there will be no
information,
public meetings, there will be public introduction.
how
of
is
the
that
program.
information getting out to the public for suggestions and ideas on the participatory budget to spend
In
the money?
there was a summary of the committee meeting that I'd given to the council
Okay, so that's not made.
that lays it, right, so it's, I mean, obviously you can open it, but it lays out pretty much the timeline, which will change now that we have to do it by resolution.
Right,
So it's gonna
but
push it
that's
back
what I'm
a couple
asking, are you going to advertise that anyway?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be advertised, there was suggested that there'll be a town hall, Facebook page, borough website, you know, a megaphone, my front yard, you
But
know.
I mean, you have somewhat of a criteria
Correct.
created, okay. And back, and I guess the resolution that was added is only for rehabilitation, not redevelopment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so somebody comes and they say that your house or your property is in need of rehabilitation. What happens if you say, yeah, okay, thanks, no? Then what happens?
This is just a study. That's all where we're at.
So this is
first step.
this is gonna be the half of that 40,000, it's gonna be 18,000.
This is just the study to go to the land use board. They might not even, they might just say, nothing needs rehabilitated, cut and dry, end of everything.
Okay, and I know that Michelle Lewis had mentioned that we've done this before. We never did a rehabilitation study. We always had an area of redevelopment designated. So this is a little bit different because you might insult a lot of people, people are gonna run. They're gonna run or not wanna come in when they think, ooh, the whole town needs to be rehabilitated. So, and everything keeps going back to the master plan and our town center. It doesn't look pretty, but what's it missing? What is that area missing that everybody wants to do redevelopment on? We have restaurants, we have a bank, we have a community center. We have multiple retail businesses, a grocery store. The only thing that I think we don't have over there right now is a doctor's office. So, what's missing? What is besides one empty building that's only been empty for a couple of years because of deed restriction, which the deed restriction is gonna have to be lifted no matter what you put in there.
Well, a lot of residents have made lots of different suggestions, and we're hoping for a town hall meeting for more suggestions.
But how
we're
can you
not
lift
even
a deed
addressed that
restriction
yet.
for one suggestion and not for another?
We're not even at that step. We're just talking about the rehabilitation project right now, so we're not even in the redevelopment step of anything right now.
Okay. And again, with the rehabilitation, it just gives you the opportunity to pick and choose what properties you decide or see deemed fit. It doesn't seem like it's logical, it doesn't seem fair, it just seems very biased.
It gives us opportunities for grants that we otherwise wouldn't have.
What grants?
There's state grants, federal grants, possibly even county grants, because we have sections of the town that involve with the county. But we don't know yet. We have to find out what the land use board, it's just a proposal to bring it forth to them. But we can't obtain any grants or even apply for any grants if we don't have a plan. So that's this first step.
And I know another concern of yours, and again, we've always said it's always happened as far as the flooding on 35 and 3rd. Neptune City doesn't own that property. That's all state. So how does this come into play? Doesn't matter what we do if it's state property.
With a plan, we can apply for grants to help us to have funding to help solve that issue. It's a step. Without it, we can't do anything. Unless we want to raise taxpayer dollars out the wazoo, which we don't want to do.
But now the resolution also says that we still have the right. The borough will, however, retain its power of condemnation for public uses, such as right-of-ways, parkland, and other qualifying purposes.
We didn't move forward with that resolution.
No, that is the resolution that I believe you did. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Isn't that stated in everything?
No.
Is that not stated?
That's an exception.
That's-
That's an exception, so what it's saying is that the redevelopment law in and of itself authorizes the governing body to condemn property for redevelopment purposes. What it's saying in that resolution is that the town is not allowed to do that for redevelopment purposes. However, it still retains its rights with respect to right-of-ways, parks, or other public uses. Because the eminent domain power doesn't just flow from redevelopment, it flows from, you know, if you need the property for a park, or a parking lot, or some other public use, you could also exercise eminent domain completely independent of everything we talked about tonight. So what that part of the resolution says is that in those instances when it would otherwise be allowed in other laws, it's okay, but not for redevelopment.
So I guess what my question is, okay, so we find these areas that are in need of rehabilitation, and the governing body says a park will be good there. So then, to me, it's saying that you can take it by eminent domain.
That's not part of the rehabilitation proposal.
But I
Under
believe that's
rehabilitation,
what we're
there's-
saying.
Well,
That's
Under the
redevelop-
statute.
That was a separate resolution, Greg, that was the
There's no
redevelopment.
condemnation with.
Rehab at all, even for public use.
It doesn't say that at all.
You're retaining it, you're not retaining it for rehab purposes, period. No condemnation.
You cannot use condemnation in the power of eminent domain by virtue of designating something as a rehabilitation area. You
Even
can
if it's
always
for public
take, doesn't
use.
mean that you can't condemn property within a rehabilitation area if it's otherwise necessary for a public park or public use.
So basically,
that would
yes, you
otherwise
can.
be authorized.
But basically, you can, if you decide.
But we can do that today.
Yeah, we can do that without the rehabilitation.
You can take any land in town for a public park today. The intent of the town still retains that power.
It's just really scary. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I have one, this Friday, movie in the park, join us to watch Coraline, Friday, September 13th, 7 p.m. at Memorial Park, and I believe if it's, inclement weather, it will move to the community center, everybody welcome.
Okay. How about a motion to adjourn? Offered by Mr. Wardell. Second by Ms. Lewis. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.